Hello again, everyone. Yate, bienvenidos, and mabuhay. Last week, CCSD school board members and I were in Santa Fe attending the New Mexico School Board Association conference. We had the opportunity to speak with your local representatives and senators in the state capitol while gaining knowledge and engaging with speakers at the event. I know we've been talking about bills and legislative sessions for quite a few weeks now, and some folks probably get tired of hearing about politics. But this is an important time in our state and in our country, and our students will be affected by what happens during the next few weeks in Santa Fe. Some of the bills I'm about to talk about will become law, and others will run into some opposition and fail. If you have strong feelings, one way or the other, about any of these bills, now would be the time to pick up your phone and talk to your legislators, who, by the way, work for you. Here goes. House Bill 63 proposes significant revisions to New Mexico's public school funding formula, particularly affecting the State Equalization Guarantee, or the SEG. This means increased funding for our district for specific students based upon certain factors. One such factor is for secondary students. Schools would get more dollars for secondary students that schools could apply to CTE, or career and technical education programs. Another factor, which is probably the most important of these factors for our district, is for ELL or EL students. For those of you who are not involved in education, that's an abbreviation for English language learners or just English learners. In essence, House Bill 63 attempts to translate the principles of the Yazzie-Martinez ruling into concrete action by refining how New Mexico funds its schools. By focusing on EL students and using a more accurate poverty measure, the bill aims to create a more equitable system that provides all students with the opportunity to succeed as mandated by the court. Here are some other bills that we have our eyes on. Math and reading bills. The state is focused on improving math and reading scores, which have been low. The state wants to strengthen instruction in math and reading, provide more professional development, and add math coaches in schools. During the last few years, elementary teachers have been trained in the science of reading, and this legislation aims to continue this initiative. Anti-distraction policy. This policy is primarily concerned with cell phones. The legislature is discussing a statewide policy about cell phone use in schools that could include banning cell phones in schools. Tribal Regalia at School Events Bill. This bill aims to protect a student's right to wear tribal regalia at school events. The bill was prompted by an incident at a graduation ceremony in a neighboring district to the east. Tribal Education Trust Fund Bill. This bill proposes putting $50 million in a trust fund to be distributed among tribal entities. The distribution of the money is an issue with concerns about equitable allocation per student. Special Education Act Bill. This bill would codify the Office of Special Education, which was created last year by a governor's executive order. The House Joint Resolution 4 and Senate Joint Resolution 3 both involve creating a state board of education rather than a secretary of education appointed by the governor. The composition of the board would change based on the specific bill. OST, or Out of School Time Programming Bill. This bill concerns funding for after-school and summer school programs. The funding for these programs was cut last year, and this bill aims to restore some of that funding. These programs can offer extracurricular activities that excite students about being in school. There's already talk in the Senate about decreasing the amount of this bill from $20 million to less than half of that. So call your senator if you think after-school and summer school programs are important. Some other bills being introduced pertain to school safety, instructional days in a school year, and an increase in starting salaries for teachers. We will let you know which of these bills becomes law within the next month or so. And now, what a lot of you have been waiting for, your weekly sports update. Let's start with Shiprock. In wrestling, Shiprock has 3 boys and 1 girl who will be competing at state. Melanie Jim, Cameron Simpson, Gilbert Bunny, and Kayan Cleveland. In basketball, the boys' last district game is a home game tonight with Miami-Mira, and the girls' last district regular season game is tonight at Miami-Mira. We'll be awaiting the results. The district meeting is on Monday to find out district playoffs for basketball. Over in Kirtland, the Kirtland Central girls basketball team concluded their regular season with a 74-33 victory over Aztec last night, achieving a perfect 10-0 record against District 1 4A competition. The Broncos, with an overall record of 24-2, secured the District 1 4A championship and a 12-game winning streak. The boys basketball team finishes their regular season tonight versus Bloomfield, and they look forward to district playoffs. In boys wrestling at the NMAA Region 1 4A Regional Championships, Kirtland Central finished 4th as a team. Nathan Tom from KCHS finished 2nd in the 160-pound weight class and is currently ranked number 2 in the state. Chance Aspas placed 3rd in the 172-pound weight class. In girls wrestling, Evelyn Ozine took 5th in the 120-pound class. Haley Robinson took 2nd in the 126-pound class, and Kayliana Chavez took 4th in the 145-pound weight class, meaning these girls all qualified for state. And on to Newcomb. Today, Shyla Howe competes at the NMAA State Wrestling Championships as our lone qualifier. The Newcomb boys basketball team ends their regular basketball season with a game at Navajo Prep tonight. Next week, our district tournaments begin. Brackets will be released after our District 1 3A meeting this weekend. The Newcomb girls team is currently ranked 4th in District 1 3A and 6th in 3A in the state. The Newcomb boys are ranked 7th in District 1 3A and 18th in 3A in the state. Also, one last sports item. There is a powerlifting event February 22nd at Shiprock High School that Newcomb High, Kirtland, Shiprock High will all be competing in. And believe it or not, several of our spring sports have already begun or are beginning today. We will have updates on these sports in the coming weeks. And that's all I have for today. See you next week. Hagone. Adios. Pal.